Welcome to Do the Talk podcast. This is your real estate podcast where we explain to regular people just like us how to invest in real estate and how to save yourself from financial hardship generally. So, I am your host today. My name is Ahmed Lawal, as you all know, and this is my co-host here, Ibrahim Ojerinde, a prominent real estate agent in Indianapolis. So, we are always, here every week just to educate people, tell our people what you can do with your money, especially in the space of real estate, to bring you the highest return you deserve, and sharing general knowledge on ways to do things and what to avoid and all that. So, if you really want to invest in real estate, you have come to the right place. All right, Ibrahim, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. You see me adjusting myself because I know today it's going to be very interesting. We have a very topic that people don't talk about a lot just because it's getting like common out there. The system, the way it is packaged. People don't talk about this often, and it's nothing but how to avoid bad debt or why bad debt it is bad for your long-term growth. So this topic, like I said, people don't go into it too deep because it's just, in a way, it's kind of controversial just because a good debt can turn to bad debt, a bad debt a bad can turn to a good debt.
Yeah.
But you have to know how it works. You have to know how to navigate yourself and get yourself in that right position, which is the good side of it. Okay. So today we're gonna talk about it, and we want you guys to pay attention. Stay with us because Ahmed is gonna give us all the valuable information about this, and I'll be chiming in and also letting you guys know how you can literally turn your bad debt to a good debt, or how you can navigate, the whole thing. So I just mentioned the topic.
Yeah.
A good how to why a bad debt is bad for you for your long-term growth. Our audience would like to know, what is bad debt? Why is it bad?
Yeah.
Please.
So bad debt is the money that you borrow with high interest or regardless of the interest. But a lot of it comes with high interest. The money you borrow and it's you use it for something that is not returning any value, that is not returning any money to you. So pretty much you get a credit card from Capital One, Chase Bank, all these big boys, and you use it to buy clothes. We all know that clothes depreciate, things like that depreciate, and you are not getting any value from that clothes other than you wear it, you look nice. Who cares, right? So if you use credit card of 12% to invest in something that is giving you 20%, now it's a different case because the interest you are getting on your return you are getting on your investment is 20, and the interest you are paying on that money is 12. So that's when we neutralize the 12. So it's now a different ball game. So like you said, bad debt can quickly become good and good debt can quickly become bad. What I would say to that is the decision making behind both. So you can turn a good debt to bad by making the right decision. You can turn a bad debt to good by making a decision. Whatever you choose, just make sure you want to run away from credit card, using it for something that is not going to return any value to you as much as possible. You want to run away from payday loans. Payday loans are killing us. Literally, you want to run away from there. These guys are making tons of money and you are running in circles. So for your financial stability, for your long-term goal, for your long-term stability in your mental health, these are the things you want to run away from. So let's say you make 700, you already get a payday loan of $150. And with that $150, now you have maybe 30 or 40% interest on it. You have to pay in 2 weeks. Within that short period of time, they give you $150, maybe you are making $40 or $38 return on it. within that short period. Imagine if they do it for 1 million people. Imagine how much those guys are making within that short period. Why you are lending such money, you will be running in circle, because if you take that 150 and the interest from your $700, the money that remains is change. You can't even make any rent or buy anything substantial in this economy. So it will make you running in circles, and also for your credit to grow, you want to run away from such loan. Keep in mind, depending on what you are using such money for, it could become a good debt really quickly. Like I said, you borrow something, you borrow some money that the interest rate is 12%, and you invest it in something that give you the return of 30%, 20%, even 15%. 15, I will not do it. Why? Because the inflation is more than 3%. Yeah. But something of 20%, then let's remove 12 from 20. That gives us 8. 8 is higher than inflation. You're still going to get some things out of it, right? So that is why I kind of said 15 is, I'm not going to invest in something that gave me 15 with the money that I borrow with 12, because it still doesn't make any sense. It's more or less I'm working without making any progress. So with all this, Ibrahim, what do you think, kind of push people towards using money they borrow at this high interest rate? I use 12. We all know credit card is, regardless of how good your credit score is, you're going to be having 17, 18% interest.
Yeah, even that's even good. Really, yes. Some folks have like 24, 29%.
29, yes.
Yeah, because all these credit cards are sneaky. They don't have to follow, because it's a I think they call it non-protected loan.
Yes.
Unsecured loan, thank you. So because that credit card, for example, if someone else should steal it and you swiped it and everything, the original owner or the ideal owner of that card will not be affected.
Will not be responsible, yes.
So the bank have to face that loss.
Take the
responsibility. So technically, they are using that to leverage, with the financial institution and the government to say, okay, if we are going to take all this risk, we need a higher interest.
Yep.
Versus like normal, like mortgage, like where it is more secure and protected and all that. So really, I feel like it's the system. Remember from the introduction, I mentioned that the way the system is programmed, people don't kind of talk about it because it has become normal. I get. Let's say you go into a Macy's store and you want to buy something of $20. You quite already have your $20, but Macy's will tell you, if you get my credit card, I give you 20%, 30%.
They say that to me
off
every single day.
Yeah. So and when you do the math, maybe they're gonna take $7 off from your $20 bill. A lot of folks will buy into that because they want to save $7. But what that person does not realize is when you do that first swipe, and technically you having that card, they say, I chance you will go back to Macy's just because of having that card.
Yeah.
And when you go back again, you swipe again, before you know it, it will start looking more convenient just because you have that card. The perfume or the cologne or the bag that you have been hoping to get, planning that after you've saved for a while, you get it. You realize that now it's easy for me to get because the card says 2,000 or 5,000 or even 7,000. But the bag is just 1,200. Yeah. So if you are not disciplined enough, you would just like, okay, let me just buy it. Yeah. Anyway, and because I have the card, I swipe it, I get that, and you will come back in your mind. You come back and pay. Yeah. A lot of people do that. But the major thing I feel like we don't put into consideration, first of all, inflation. Second, we don't put in consideration that things happen, things that we can't control. I can give you an example. There are some situation where I was, actually, this is what happened. I was driving from my home to my dad's house with, I have a Nissan car. Yeah. I was driving it and the transmission gave up. Unexpectedly on the highway, what I did, I had to use the gear 1 because it will stop. It will be moving on gear 1, but it won't go to gear 2, gear 3, gear 4, even till 5. It won't go there. It will just stop on 1. So the more you accelerate, the more noisy it gets because it's not changing. Yeah. So all I did, I pressed the hazard light and kept going on the left side, like the slow lane, and just going little by little, gradually. And I pushed it down. I drove it down to my dad's house, parked it there. Look at it this way. Let's say I've had a plan. I've got my credit card, bought something, and I got a plan to
pay back.
pay back that very week or next week.
That ain't happen.
Now it won't happen again because my car is more important than other. Paying that paying the 1,200 Gucci bag or whatever bag that I picked from Macy's.
Yeah.
I have to do my car first.
Yeah.
Because I have to be able to go and make more money so I can feed the family and stuff. So
and that one. Sorry to cut you off. That 1,002 is not 1,002 because the interest is not coming.
Thank you. Especially when you are not able to pay that time.
Yes.
Because you have 30 days for you to do that.
Yes.
But now you can't because your car gave up on you.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing, the transmission is even more than 1,200.
Yes.
It can be from 3,000 to 5,000 depending on the mechanic or the shop or the brand of your vehicle and everything. Yes. So things like that happen. And a lot of folks will be behind just because they have to face another responsibility because we work with priority. Of course, that's normal. I'm not going to let somebody pay a bill of 1,200 when they cannot fix their car because you have to have a car to make money.
Yeah.
So we have to be conscious of like things will happen that will prevent us from paying back these loans because these are bad loans. So the best thing to do is to avoid it.
Yeah.
The only time you get into it, Ahmed mentioned that earlier, is when you are using it to make money. Of course, we know the Gucci bag you are trying to buy, you're not going to make money from it. We know that. In most cases, people just buy it for fun.
Yeah, give you the feeling of
loss. So there's not, our message here really is that there's nothing wrong when you are using bad debt to make money. I've watched a video, there are a lot of people, in fact, I can use a guy in Atlanta, Georgia. What he does, he will get a credit card, like all this high interest, high limit credit card. Also, it has a high interest, of course. He will buy, how does it do this? I think it will use the card and go to, it's a credit line, not just credit card. Sorry, okay. It's a credit line. My bad. It's a credit line, but it's a high interest credit line. So you go to the bank, they give you cash with that card. Then when you get the cash, you can use the cash to do something. But it's a high interest rate credit. So it will use that to buy land. After I use that to buy land, it will get a contractor to start doing the framing. Okay. Then it will go to like hard money lender, or like private mortgage, private money lender, and get a loan to finish the house. Okay. And after finishing the house, he will pay back the card. Okay. So technically, he's paying interest. However, he has a way, a method, a system to pay back the money, the chunk, and pay it off. Yeah. So this guy is using that instead of coming out of pocket with his money. So if you look at that very well, he's using a bad debt, turning it around to a good debt and making money. Yeah. So I just mentioned my perspective about how people get into this debt and got stuck. Yeah. Just because the things that you don't envisage, something you are unable to foresee it, and it happens to you. What do you think about people that actually know but they stop paying? Because and the situation got worse and worse. Go ahead. Sorry.
So the thing is, we all know our strengths, we all know our weakness.
Yes.
Not discipline with money. That's me.
So you already know that.
I know.
Great.
It's my weakness, right? So people like me should stay away from credit card. I spend this year paying off everything that I have. I'm going to get them done by the end of this year, so that I've paid a huge chunk, and it shows on my credit.
That's good.
So what I'm saying is, you have to know yourself, because if you are dreaming like me, to have at some point in your life, you want to have financial freedom where if you don't feel like getting off your bed, you don't have to, because your money is out there making more money for you and your bill is being covered, your lifestyle is being covered without you getting off that bed. Then you have to determine what you go after and what you avoid. Like I said, lately, because I've been working on paying all this off, my credit is jumping. That's whenever I visit a store and they're like, "Oh, if you get our card, you're gonna get 40% on you." I'm like, I come here to buy. I have my money with me.
Yes.
Don't talk me into it. I'm not going to even listen. I'm not going to
Yeah,
enter
I don't
because,
need that.
we get tempted when we hear all these 40% discount, 30% discount. We don't think about other responsibility, just like Ibrahim said. Things
Yeah.
happen, accidents happen. So to save your financial freedom goal, to save your mental health, to make sure you are not running in circle, know yourself and get what, just don't get more than what you can pay off. And just to save your mental stress, because one thing that stress everybody is money. If you don't have money, if you broke, if you have loan to pay, if you have house rent to pay, if you have credit card debt, people calling you, your stress level is going to be higher than someone that doesn't have debt. So if you know you cannot handle it, what I'm saying is know yourself. If you know you cannot handle it, just stay away. The debt I can handle is a debt that I'm using for investment. Not that I don't have any debt, but the debt that I'm using for investment, I'm using it to buy a house. I know I'm going to rent this house much more higher than the mortgage, then that is what I'm going to be collecting. So really, Ibrahim, in my opinion, the biggest part is know yourself. If you cannot handle it, just stay away.
That's the biggest. That makes
Because if
sense.
you dream, just like I said earlier, if you dream like me and at some point in your life you want to be free, having all these credit card debts, payday loan, gonna get you running in circle. And to avoid that, to be able to reach that financial freedom and be able to buy all this Gucci bag, all this gold chain, all this diamond chain outright. You can buy it without using debt. That's something that we've been programmed to think, oh, if you want to buy a car, you have to get a loan for it. If you want to buy a house, you have to get a mortgage for it. No, you can buy all these things outright if you have your money. The reason why you are getting involved with bank or all these other lender is because you don't have it. So to get to that point of having enough money to be able to buy, then you need to be disciplined upfront. Know yourself and save your financial freedom goal and your mental health. Oh, so one thing that I always observe is when people go and get credits, they don't have a substantial plan to pay it back.
Before even getting the okay.
Yes. So just like all these store that we mentioned earlier, people just walk into the store. They don't have a plan before of getting that credit. But once they walk into the store, these salespeople that they don't know they are salespeople, they thought they are just workers. They are salespeople. They are there. They are strategically placed there to talk you into getting all those loans. So then they get into all this unnecessary loan and get stuck. What can you do? You think there's a way to avoid getting into unplanned debt?
Yeah, there is a way. I mean, you have to be purposeful in everything you are doing. So you mentioned that you went to a store. You've been going to a store of recent, and they will come to you. Oh, do you want 40% or this or that? And you were turning them down. Technically, it's because you are determined. It's because you know what you want. Okay, because they want to give you 30%, 20% doesn't mean that it's good for you. Plus, when they try to do that, some people don't realize that they will check your credit first.
Yeah.
So that's an inquiry on your credit line.
Yeah.
And when the inquiry is already there, especially if you are new to the credit system, it's gonna drop your credit.
Yeah.
At the credit bureau, it's gonna drop your credit. So why would you let somebody drop your credit because they want to give you $7 discount? That this money, this credit card, I should say, there's a high chance that it will put you into more debt.
Yeah.
That you have no plan to pay back or
You can't
have a way to pay back. In most cases, they give you more than you can bite or you can chew. That's the fact.
Yeah.
And would you bite what you cannot swallow? Like it's something too much for you? No, you can't do that. So what you need to do whenever you want to buy something, you have your mind plan. You have everything planned. The mindset, everything has to be right. You go into the store, you have your money, pay for it, and go away. 10, 20% is fine. You don't have to use the credit card. How about this? If you like those discounts very well, you like it so much.
Yeah.
My best suggestion or opinion for you is to go to a store that is doing clearance. How about that? Go get a 30% clearance and pay cash. 30% clearance or 40% clearance and pay with your debit card. How about that? At least you are saving 30 or 20 or whatever percentage they are doing on the clearance. In fact, some clearance can be as high as 50%. But guess what? The credit card discount will not be 50%. I've never seen one. When you apply, most of the time it's 10%, 20%, 30, or maybe 40. I don't think it'll be more than that. But you can get a clearance way cheaper than that. In fact, you know one tricky thing these stores or business establishment they do? When you go get clearance, a lot of clearance, most of the time, you won't get another discount again because they'll say that clearance is already discounted. That's it. So my point here is don't fall into their game. If you want discount, go to where there's discount on the product, not the loan. You don't need the loan. You got your money, how much you want, buy it and get out of the store. That's what I would do. Ahmed, what do you think about that?
So I actually have a story about the clearance you mentioned. So really, I have this store that I used to go to buy my clothes, and I went there, I think around May, to buy some clothing, and I picked 3. Went home, started wear them so many times on this podcast, and I went back last month, which is August, 3 months after. All those clothes are now in clearance.
Wow!
And I bought them 3 times the money I would have bought if I wait just 3 months.
Wow!
So just to buttress your point, you can, all these things will come to you if only you can be disciplined and you can wait.
Yes, be patient.
Yes, you can wait.
Delay gratification.
Now, I went home, I told my wife, like, could you believe this cost this amount of money and now it costs this?
Like,
just between the tinkling of an eye, the value that I place on this went from this now to this small.
Wow.
So now that was an eye opener for me last month, and I'm like, whenever I'm going inside that store and I see something I like, I will wait 2 months and go back there. That's not me being cheap. That is me realizing my condition right now. At some point, I will be able to avoid it. I will be able to avoid designer that will even be picking this clothes for me and all that. But before you can get to that lifestyle, your dream lifestyle, you have to realize that there is sacrifice you need to pay. And that sacrifice might be you buying on clearance, just like you said.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's absolutely nothing wrong. If I wear that cloth now, and will it make any difference from wearing it in May? No. You guys wouldn't even know that I'm buying it cheap.
On clearance,
It's still the same quality. It's the same textile. It's still the same cuttings and all that. So you won't know.
And it won't say clearance on it.
It won't.
So
that is one thing you can do differently to actually get yourself in the green and move yourself out of the red and all this rat race and all that, because bad debt will keep pulling you down and further down in the red. You don't want to be there, especially if you're on this podcast and you want to invest in real estate. You need your mental health stable. You need your credits stable. You need all these things to be able to move a lot faster, which is why I'm paying mine off so that I can move quickly. So, Ibrahim, just these final thoughts, generally, just anything, your opinion on what people can start doing today to prepare themselves and put themselves in a better spot for tomorrow.
Great, that's a good one. So we all know that if you are going to this mortgage system or real estate and you are trying to borrow money or get money from any financial institution, the first most important thing, okay, especially if you are not a big investor, you need credit. The biggest one is credit.
That one right there is a good point.
The only time it doesn't matter is when you have got to a point. When you got to a point, they don't bother about your credit anymore. But for now, for you being a new investor, you need to keep your credit very good. If your credit is so good and you barely have money to pay for down payment or anything, it's possible to get a loan product that will help you, just because like they just see you being a good credit, they see you as a
Credit
credit
worthy.
worthy
Yeah.
person, is someone that will take care of the bill. There's someone that is reliable with their finances. That's how they look at you when you have a great credit. Okay.
Yeah.
So how can you do that? All you have to do, if your credit is, if you're facing some challenges, you have to first of all understand what is the challenge. Is it that you have to pay some bills? Is it that you have to be paying your bill on time? Is it that you have to lower your utilization?
Yeah.
Because you having 5,000 limit on your credit doesn't mean you have to spend 4,300.
Yeah.
No, you can lower it to 30% or less so that your credit can go up.
Yeah.
Doing so, it's gonna help you. It's gonna prepare you for that time when when you are ready to get into the market.
Yeah.
You have to have good credit. You have to be saving as much as you can. Do you need money? Yes, but it doesn't mean that if without money you cannot scale up. No. But one most important thing, make sure you have a good credit. Do whatever it takes to have a good credit. The money part of it, there's always a way out. There's a gift. There is borrow money from a friend. There's this and that. But your credit as a new investor is very critical. You will find it difficult to get a mortgage without a good credit, at least fair credit. So credit is the number one thing. Ahmed, I just talked about credit. Of course, money is a big one, but you and I know that there's a way you can do without money. Quickly, what are other things people need to get started?
So aside from credits, you need
Great.
you need knowledge. You need to educate yourself. Spend time watching podcasts, reading books. Spend time on YouTube researching all these things. Everything that you want. We have this luxury of information that our parents doesn't have. All this information are out there. Just take your time and research it. Stop listening to music. Those guys are using your streaming to make money. You need that money right now, and the time you are trading for doing that, you can use it to educate yourself. So Ibrahim talked about credit. You need knowledge. You need to educate yourself so that you don't have to be the smartest man in the room, but you have to be relatively smart so that when people are talking their lingo, you can understand.
Yep.
Before we go, Ibrahim, if people want to reach out to you, how can they do that?
Yeah, quickly. So I want to add to that. You have to be approachable. You have to be friendly so you can be able to connect with people and be open-minded. Because if somebody is telling you A and your mind is already on Z or Y, you may not understand.
You will miss it.
You don't know everything. First of all, you have to understand that a lot of people are out there that know more than you. The fact that you are intelligent doesn't mean you've got all the information.
Yeah.
Be ready to learn, and you being patient, you being having good credit, you being someone who's approachable and can connect with people. It will put you at the edge of the affair where you get closer to your financial freedom faster than anyone else.
Yep.
So if you want to reach out to me, go to IB Realtors on our website, ibrealtors.us, Facebook, Instagram, IB Realtors. Just text me. You can DM me directly. You can call me 317-728-0213. Again, we are committed to make sure your real estate journey or real estate dream becomes.
Same with me. You can go to acopm.com, acopm.com. You can go on there. There's number, there's phone to call, and you can also reach out to us on any social media platform, acopm.com, Instagram, TikTok. You can always reach out to us on Facebook as well. And until next week, peace.